As we start class today, we're going to start with 1 and 2 step equations, how to solve them, because it's time to move on from it, but a lot of us still have not mastered it. So start by writing this down. One step in blue, x plus 8 equals 16. Two step in red, 2x plus 8 equals 16. Look at the similarities. They both have an x. They both have an equal sign. They both have numbers. Your goal for equations is to always isolate the variable. So this x has to be by itself. You also have the x, the equal sign, and the number. But the 8 is in the way. How do we get rid of the 8? Because the goal is to get this x by itself. Right, we got to do the opposite of whatever this plus 8 is. And what's the opposite of plus 8? Minus 8, right. So we're going to subtract 8. What you do on one side, you do on both sides. What happens here? With the plus 8 and minus 8. That's now gone. We draw a line through it. It's gone away. Now we're going to clean up our work a little bit. This is going from this side. So we have x left over here on your left, equal sign. And now we have to subtract the 8 from the 16. So 16 minus 8 is 8. Good, problem solved. X equals 8. You plug it back in. 8 plus 8 is equal to 16. Most of us can do this side with no problem. But when we get here to the red, that's when our mistakes are starting to be made. It's the same concept. This x has to be by itself. Has to be. We know the 2 is in front of it, but we're going to deal with that. But the same rules apply. So, again, the plus 8 is in the way. How are we going to get rid of that plus 8? Good. Subtract 8 from both sides. What happens to this plus 8 and the minus 8? It goes away. We're drawing a line between it. It's gone. Again, like we did over here, we're going to clean our work up. So we have 2x equals 16 minus 8 is 8. But if you look right here, we were finished when we got to this part. This is a 2-step equation. So we got to ask ourselves, you can either do it 2 ways. You can multiply it or you can divide it. If you're going to multiply it, you can say 2 times what number gives me 8? 2 times what number gives me 8? Or you can divide them both by 2. When you divide by 2, these 2 go away, and x is equal to 4. For you to be successful in algebra class, you have to be able to do 2-step equations. So from this 2-step, it leads to literal equations and other equations, but it starts right here. If you can do this, you can do any math problem ever get put in front of you. I want you to try these 4 on your own. One step on this side. And for the one step I don't suspect you're going to have any issues with them. P plus 6 equal 90. Two-step in purple. Yeah. Write them down, solve them, and box your answers for me. If you're not working, I'm assuming you don't know how to do it. I want you to finish when the timer goes off. All right, there's your timer. Those answers should be boxed. Be walking around making sure that we all got it and we all have 100s. We're gonna move on. I'm gonna show you alternate forms of one-step and two-step equations. And for 90% of you all, this is a review. Other one-step problems. M over 8 equals 12. X over 4 equals 3. M over 8 equals 12. X over 4 equals 3. Write these two down as well. How do we solve these problems? It's one step because you only got to do one thing. What is that one thing? Multiply. Good. 8 times 12. M equals 96. Simple as that. Problem is solved. Because if you put 96 up here and divide that by 8, you're going to get 12. So if you got this, then you're going to get this. 4 times 3, x equals 12. Most of you are good with this. But when I take this to the next step, to the two-step portion, then we have some issues. Let's do that. X over 4 plus 3 equals 8. X over 4 plus 3 equals 8. Just like our earlier problems with the 8s and the 16s, our goal is we got to get that x by itself. To do that, this 3 shouldn't be on the same side. So we got to get rid of the 3. How are we going to do that? Good. Subtract 3 from both sides. Now we're going to clean it up, rewrite what we have. X over 4 equals 8 minus 3 is 5. Now you're back to the one steps that I just did. So X must be good. X is 20. Because you multiply 4 times 5. Again, if you plug it back in, 20 over 4 plus 3. 20 divided by 4 is 5 plus 3 equals 8. Like always, we'll give you 3 to work on. Move on to the next thing. Number 1. P over 6. My bad. P over 6 minus 4 equals 2. Number 2. M over 3 plus 2 equals 5. Number 3. 3 plus x over 4 equals 8. The timer go off, you should be finished with them. pencils down, you should be finished. I need 3 volunteers to come to the board. Last thing I'm going to show you today, literal equations. Literal equations. You have 2 variables. And most times you're going to be solving for y. Now they can ask you to solve for anything. Most times you're going to solve for y. It starts off y plus 3x equals 18. Starts off with the y plus or minus the x equals a number. Your goal is, if you're solving for y, just like always, like we did earlier, the y has to be on the side by itself. This is a little different because you can't combine the 3x and the 18. But by now you understand that the 3x has to go over here, and how it gets over here is by subtracting 3x from both sides. That's great. That's exactly what I want you to be doing. But when 3x comes over here, you can't do 18 minus 3x equals 15x. You can't do that. That's comparing apples and oranges. A whole number can't subtract the number with the x. So the answer is going to be y equals 18 minus 3x. All you did, change the sign of the 3x. It went from positive to negative, and then moved to the other side. It's the only thing. This is the answer. That's what our y equals. Remember how we got here? The 3x just moved sides, and the signs changed. I want you to show me that you know how to do it by solving 3 more just like it. We're going to name them T, L, and C. Right, T-bar is left eye and chili. So we have y minus 5x equal 18. 3x plus y equals 64. And y minus 8x equals 120. Take about 30 seconds to solve these 3. All right, time up. T, L, and C. Let me get someone whose name start with the T, someone name who start with the L, and someone name who start with the C to come up here and solve these 3 problems. Hopefully I got someone whose name start with the L and the C. I know I got T. Tony starts with the T. Come on, Tony. Literal equations again. Well, we're going from the 1-step portion that we just did to the 2-step portion. We're still going to solve for y. But this time we're going to have a number in front of the variable, y. 2y plus 4x equal 18. So like we did last time, what hasn't happened to the 4x? Good. 4x has to come over here. when it comes over here, what happens to it? Good, it becomes negative. So we're gonna rewrite what we have. 2y equal 18 minus 4x. This is good because we almost have y by itself. Now we have one more step to get y by itself. What do we have to do to get rid of that 2y? We're gonna divide the whole thing by 2. Two divided by 2 is 1. This goes away. That's just y. 18 divided by 2. 9. Good job. And 4 divided by 2. 2. Let's keep our x. Good job. Our problem is, answer is, I'm sorry, y equals 9 minus 2x. I divided by 2 this time. If you have a 3y or a 4y or a 5y or whatever y, that's the number you divide the entire thing by. So we're going to do one more example together where we divide by a different letter, different number in front of the y. Y minus 9x equals 21. Rewrite it with the 9x on the other side. So you should have had 3y equals 21 plus 9x. Last time we divided by 2. This time we're going to divide by 3. Good job. Divide the whole thing by 3. Goes away. Y equals 21 divided by 3 is 7. Good work. And 9 divided by 3 is 3x. That is your answer. Work on these 3. Good job.